All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Friday morning, November the 20th, 2020. And so it's good to see everyone or to know, I mentally see you, even though I physically can't see you. Uh, yeah, you guys just turned the lights up on me. Did I just get real bright real quick? Okay. We got new lighting and they were messing with me this morning, testing it out, and like doubled the light and about blinded me. And so just now, all of a sudden, it burst real bright on me. Anyway, let me say good morning. Good morning to my mom. I love you, Mama. Good morning. Good morning to Kelly, and buenos dias to Elva, and good morning to Ron and Amy. Hope you guys are doing well, and to John and Jan. Hope you're doing well as well. And John, and so good morning to Jack and to Charlene and to Ellen and to Richard. Good morning, you guys. And good morning to Jerry in Padre Island, trying to make us jealous. Well, I mean, it's not beach time. I mean, I don't think you'd go in the water now, would you? But down at Padre Island in Texas. So good morning to you as well. Stay safe. And all right, and let's look over here. And good morning to Tim and Cindy. Hope you guys are doing well. And to Rashad and Mignon and to Kathleen. Good morning to you as well. Okay, so this morning we're in Psalm 140. Psalm 140. Hold on, where is it? There we go. All right. And it's a prayer. It's considered at times, I don't think you would put it in a lament. It's not a lament, but it's a cry out to the Lord. It's a psalm of David. And David is facing difficulties. He's surrounded by wickedness, surrounded by injustice. One of the things that we deal with, one of the things that we struggle with, just in the brokenness of the world, right? When we look at the character of God and the way that God interacts with us, on one level, we want the Lord to just intervene immediately when there's difficulty, when there's injustice, when wrong is done. And yet, to do that on every occasion in that moment is to affect our free will, that the Lord actually is giving us opportunity. He gives us choice. He actually doesn't control us. He doesn't win by force. And so by him giving us the ability to have free will, that is an act of love, right? I mean, if you don't love someone by capturing them and being like, I love you, you want them to willingly stay there. And yet with the issues of sin and wickedness, and the effects of that, what you begin to see is that as those things are expressed, they wound other people. So the freedom that he allows, he is slow to anger, and yet in that moment, there are times where where David would pray, or where different psalmists would pray, like, please, Lord, in your anger, like, don't take so long, don't be so slow in this. Or was it Jeremiah? When Jeremiah was like, okay, well, I know you're slow to anger, but this is taking a long time, and I feel like, would you come through for me? And so there's this balance of the love of God and the patience of God, and he is slow to anger. And yet in his slow to angerness, that also means that there are times that we have to endure wrong because he is slow to anger. And so there's this, again, the balance of the perfection of his character in terms of his love and truth and justice and righteousness. When his love dominates, when his love is what rules, if his love rules all the hearts of men, then justice would be the natural overflow, because love expresses itself in justice, right? The love, it is to be unjust is to be unloving. And so God expresses his love and calls us to reflect his love in our concern for others, in our taking care of those who are not ourselves. Love your neighbor as yourself. Be concerned about those who are on the edges of society. You know, in the Torah, for instance, where he says, don't glean your whole field. You could say, well, it's my right, it's my field. He says, don't glean your field. I am the Lord your God. I'm the one who fed you. So leave the edges of your field for the poor. Leave the edges of your field for those who are in need, who are hungry. Like, show kindness and mercy and generosity. Don't glean everything and hoard everything for yourself. He says, I don't do that to you. So we see there are times that in our prayer, we're wrestling with, how long, O Lord? So that's a big intro to Psalm 140. It says, for the music director, a psalm of David. He opens up, rescue me, Adonai, from the evil man. And that opening word, rescue, because sometimes the word rescue is like salvation, but this word is chalatz, and it's remove, but like to remove with strength. So if something is like even ripped off, like with strength, it would be chalatz. So he's saying, chalatz to me, remove me, like get me out of this with your strength from me'adam ra, from humanity's evil, from the evil of humanity. God, I need you to remove me from this evil, from, again, evil. None of us walk around going, I'm evil. But evil expresses itself through on different levels by the level of my self-centeredness, right? The less empathetic one is, the less one cares or can understand the feelings of another or is concerned about how this impacts another, the more evil it is. Like, so for instance, sometimes when we think about the worst kinds of evil, we think about the evil that is done toward children. And you go, and there's a part of you that goes, don't you remember what it was to be a child? Or don't you know what it is to be a loving parent? How could you hurt someone else without recognition of what it felt like to be in that situation? And the more disregarding you are of those who are the most innocent, it's an increasing evil. And that's evil expressed. So he's saying, Lord, I need you to snatch me from this. That's why often we'll talk about sin as me firstness, because again, the more me first I am, the more destructive my life ends up being. Oh, you think about it. The whole nature of conflict in the world, unless it starts with somebody being me first. Right? I mean, the wars may be people defending, but somebody has said, I'm going to take what's not mine. And I don't care because I want it. I don't care how it affects you. So I want this land because it's the nicest. I want this view so I will do whatever it takes to get what I want without regard to you. And so you can look at all the destruction, all the sickness of our world as being boiled down to exalting oneself, to pride, to me firstness, without a lack of care or concern for others. So David says, rescue me from the evil man, or from evil humanity, from Adam Ra, from humanity's evil. Protect me from the violent men. Natsar, protect is to watch over me, guard me. Me'ish Hamasim, from the word Hamas. We know Hamas is a terrorist group, that's wants to kill Jewish people. And so it means violence. And so there's an embracing of violence as the means to their end. But it says, those who are violent men, individuals of violence. Ish here it uses. So it's got from the evil of humanity, Adam, but then it comes to a parallel word, ish, but so it's parallelism within kind of Hebrew poetry, but it also has another kind of meaning from individuals who are violent. And violence, Hamas, it doesn't just connote physical action, it points also to the intention, ill intent. So it's saying, Lord, guard me, watch over me from those who want to harm me, from individuals who want to harm me. Verse 3, who devise evil in their heart. Choshev, they calculate, they count. They who calculate evil in their heart, Every day, kol yom, the whole day, they stir up wars. Again, lacham is battle. And so this word is milchama, which is milchamot, which is battles and battles and battles. So a continuous state of war. So these are a people who are so intent, they're so driven for what they want without concern for others. They put their own interests above the interests of others. They don't care about whether it be the group that they are a part of, whether they don't care about the whole, they care about themselves. And it's expressed in an intention, in a devising, a calculation in their minds to do whatever it takes to get what they want without regard for others. And so the psalmist is saying, Lord, will you snatch me from the evil of humanity, protect me, guard me, because these people, the whole day, they are planning, conspiring to have continuous battle. And so when you look at the evils of the wicked, though, the evils now, we see how they come forth. They come forth with their mouths. That, Yeshua says that it's from the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? So what's coming out of our mouth isn't, people say, oh, don't pay attention to what someone says or whatever. No, it's what someone says is a reflection. It's actually it's just what's boiling over. There's a lot more of whatever's coming out. There's more of that inside. So I mean, not to go off the psalm for a second, but there have been times in the past where, I always come to illustrations between like my wife and I, because there's no relationship more that's closer. And what you'll find is in your relationships that those that you're closest to have the most ability to affect you, and they can impact you. And so if someone that I don't care about says something, they don't have the ability to anger me or to upset me the way that someone I care about deeply does. Okay, so there have been times where if my wife and I were arguing and she would affect me, that something would spurt out of my mouth, and later I'd say, I didn't mean that. That's not what I meant. And so what it reveals is, and I didn't. On one level, I didn't intend for it to come out, but what it reflects, what I always have to deal with, if that came out of my lips, then that's been simmering in my heart, even unbeknownst to me. Why is that there? Let me not just say, well, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean to say that. That doesn't help anything. When something comes forth from our lips that's destructive, I think we need to recognize the destruction of it. And then we need to ask the Lord to search us and reveal what we're harboring in our hearts, and to cleanse that, and to unpack it, and we deal with that with the Lord, rather than just go into denial and say, well, I didn't mean it, okay? And then we just stuff it away rather than take it to the Lord. I'm not saying continue to vomit that stuff on someone else, but say, Lord, you need to purge me of whatever this is that's coming out of me. Well, these people, there's evil in their hearts, there's violence, there's ill intent in their heart. Humanity all looking for themselves, puts you in a posture, and he's saying, protect me. I don't want to become a part of this. I don't want to be engaged in this, but I'm coming to you, Lord. And so he describes here, he says, they sharpen, shanan, and it's a word for like a tooth even. So they sharpen like a tooth. They sharpen their tongues like a serpent's. So their tongue is sharp, and it's likened to a serpent that just. So their words do matter, and their words do strike, and their words do cause violence. That what's being done by the wicked is with their mouths. It's not being dismissed by the psalmist. It's not inconsequential. He's not saying, well, their words don't matter. He's not saying sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me, right? He's not saying that. He's saying their weapon is their words, and it's a powerful weapon. It's a powerful weapon. I was looking this morning for something else. I was looking in 1 Peter chapter 1 where Peter says in 1 Peter chapter 1, he says, gird up, he says, brace for action, right? But brace for action. But in Greek, and I don't know why it's but it says, gird up your waist, the waist of, gird up the loins, the waist of your mind, of your thoughts, because of what the enemy does. Like, you need to strengthen your thoughts, because the attack, words that hit at your thoughts, they do matter. And so the violence of humanity and the wickedness of humanity that strikes, it does so with words that are powerful. I mean, He created with words. And He made us in His likeness. Our words are not powerless. Our words are not just words. We are created in the likeness of God. So that's why James says, boy, your words have the power to build up or to destroy. We who are sing from the same fountain comes forth, can't come bitter water and fresh water. We who sing the praises of God and then curse our brother with our lips, something's wrong there. Right? Because from the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. So what's the root in there? And so we can build up or we can destroy with our words. Our words matter. And the fact that many believers don't really care about when we get to a point where we're like, you know what, just deal with it. I remember several years ago, there was a lady who I love her. She first started coming to the congregation, and we were talking, and she was introducing herself to me, and she goes, "Now listen, I just want you to know, I just say it how it is, okay? She goes, I love when you preach, but I just the way you preach, you say it how it is. I just say it how it is, and because I can say it how it is, I try to say it so that it will be received and understood. And I remember saying to her, I'm okay with you saying it how it is, as long as you can receive it in the same way. If you're willing to receive correction or instruction or something that's pointed in the same way that you're willing to give it, then I'm good with that. I'm always going to try to operate with compassion. But if someone's going to bring it directly, I think, well, maybe this is the way they best receive it. Because our words matter, and we as believers should care about how our words land. So if our words cause a stumbling block or bring offense in a way that's unrighteous, then we can speak those words in a way that gives life, that we speak life. And we should care enough about people and care enough about the impact that we have on them, that when we speak, that we're like a reflection of the Lord and that His word gives life. In fact, His harshest words are to religious people who are hardened, whose hearts have become hardened by religion, and because they think they know so much, they know better, that Yeshua has to speak His hardest words to break through this shell of I know it all. But to those that are broken, to those that are the woman at the well who was in her fifth marriage, to the woman caught in adultery, to the Roman soldiers, to you name it, to Zacchaeus, to the tax collectors, to Matthew, to the drunkards, to the people that we go, ugh, boy, he was kind and he was compassionate. He never lessened his message. He never lowered his message. He always brought it with clarity, but always revealing the heart of the Father, right? Revealing the compassion and the favor of the Father. Okay, but the wicked heart doesn't give a rip, and they like viper's venom, like a serpent's tongue. Viper's venom is under their lips. So, and the word for venom here is chamat, which is heat. It can be poison, but it's like wrath, heat. What's coming off them is like a viper's, the heat, the poison, the wrath of a viper's tongue. So in the midst of that, the psalmist prays, keep me safe, Adonai. Shamar, watch over me, guard me, like look over me. Keep me safe, watch me, guard me, keep me from the clutches, from the hand of the wicked. Protect me, Natsar, preserve me from the man of violence, from Ish Chamasim, from the man of violences. It's in plural, Chamasim, which again it's protect me from the individual who is full of violence, ill will, and ill action. From the who planned, who chashavu, who calculated to push me down off my feet. Verse 6. The exalted, the proud, the big important people. Those everybody's looking at. The Gaim. Gaon is a great one. And these are the Gaim, the great ones, the big ones, the exalted ones. They have hidden, they've buried a trap and cords for me. In the language for cords, chevel is like these strong cords. It's used of ropes that are strong enough to lower a man from a window. They've hidden for me strong ropes. They've dug a trap. They've hidden a trap. They spread out a net by the path. They set snares for me. Selah. So it has us kind of pause with that picture that those who are exalted, those lifting themselves up, these wicked humanity exalting themselves, that they have set traps to make others fall, that they can continue to exceed and excel and become greater. Verse 7. I said to Adonai, I declared to Adonai, you are my God. Eli ata, my God, you are. You are, and there's this emphatic when he says ata, he says, you are my God. Hear, Adonai. Azina, give ear, lend an ear, listen, he says. Listen, Adonai, to the sound of my supplications, to my cry for your favor. I need you. I need you to intervene. You see what's going on. I can't see it. They've laid traps. They dug pits. Their intention is to destroy with words, and I can't see it all laid out. But you, Lord, you're my God. It's you. You're the one I'm looking to. You see, the thing that we have to recognize here in all of this, because in just a minute, he is going to call upon the Lord to make whatever they've dug for themselves, whatever they're doing, to return upon them. But you have to recognize that it can sound even violent what he's about to pray for. But the issue is he's praying for God's justice to be accomplished. And again, he's not doing violence. He's doing something that's non-violent. He's taking the fight not to them, but to the Lord. You are my God. You are my God. I'm pleading with you for favor. Will you lend an ear? I'm pleading with you to intervene. I'm not going to try to make my favor for myself. I don't know where all the traps are. I'm looking to you. He continues, verse 8. God, my Lord, and he actually uses the name of God. The reason they don't translate it here, Adonai, because it's Adonai using the name of God, Yod-He, Vav-He, the name of God. Adonai, Adonai, my Lord, my Master. The strength of my deliverance. And it's actually the strength of my salvation. Oz Yeshuati, Yeshua, my salvation, my deliverance, my help in time of need. the one who saves me when I am in trouble. My Yeshua. You don't need, the illustration I always make, Sunday morning when I'm watching the Dolphins game, you don't need to rescue me or save me from that. I'm not in need in that moment, But Yeshua, you are the strength. You are the strength of my salvation in time of need. He continues, you shield my head. You cover, you overshadow, sacho, you overshadow my head in the day of battle. Now, so in a day of battle, it's bayom nashech. Now, here's the thing that's interesting. So whenever you have bayom in a day of, it can mean like whenever there's a battle. But the word nashech means battle. It actually means the armaments of battle. So it's describing the day of when you're in close warfare. This is not warfare from a distance, but this is warfare up close. So that the same three syllables, or three consonants, of nashech, it's nun, shin, and kuf, is these three syllables. It looks like a Q. Okay, so anyway, so I got confused for nashech. It also means, neshech means kiss. Like one of our friends named her daughter Neshika. Yeah, named her daughter Kiss. It means kiss, so it has to do with up close. So it can be battle, or it can be a kiss. It's the same syllables. There's an intimacy, there's a closeness in the day when the battle is right up in my face. In the day when it's really close. So it even gives this idea of when Yeshua is betrayed with a kiss, even though that's written in Greek, but he's betrayed with a neshech. There's an up closeness, and in that day, in the day of that intimate battle, that battle in a place that, from those that are maybe even really close to you, those who have been close to you, in that day it says, you cover my head, you shield me, you overshadow me in that day. Verse 9. It says, Al tatan, don't give, Adonai, don't give them. Lord, grant not, Adonai, the desires, the cravings, the things they regard as beautiful and they are after, that they're trying to build, the desires of the wicked. Don't let their evil plan, their plot succeed, or they will exalt themselves. Don't let what they're planning succeed and then be exalted and then be lifted up. Please, Lord. Selah. And so he sits on you've seen the situations. You are my salvation. I'm looking to you. Please, Lord. Don't let this. Don't give them what they're craving, please. Don't let them be exalted. And it's a cry for the justice of God to be expressed. We know that eventually, it's like when in 1 Peter when he says, you ask, why is the Lord so long in keeping his promise? You see in the book of Revelation where the people in the fifth seal, those who had died for the sake of God's name that are under the altar saying, how long, O Lord, until basically justice is done? But because justice is an expression of the goodness of God. For God to be unjust, for God to let wickedness prevail, for God to allow those who have violence in their heart to continually destroy, where he doesn't step in and stop it and bring justice, that also is unloving. It's not kind of God. And so again, it's this balance of, Lord, your justice, we need you to show the fullness of your character expressed in a broken world. Please don't continue to let them be exalted with their plans, but may their plans come to ruin. So he says here, as for the head of those surrounding me, Rosh Misabai, those surrounding me, the head, the chief of those surrounding me, may the mischief of their lips, may the trouble coming out of their mouths, because remember what's coming out of their mouths are like sharpened swords. May the words that are coming out of their mouths, it says, overwhelm them. And so here what we have that is are words that are repeated in Hebrew. So here you have, and we're going to see this a couple of times. So it says yikasamo, from kasam, which means, normally it means, kasam is to cover, to conceal. So may the things that are coming out of their mouth, right? The words that are coming out of their mouth, may they come back on them. May they conceal them. May they hide them. So that's why it's interpreted as overwhelm. Like let as it comes out, may it come upon them. And then he continues, let burning coals fall upon them. And this verse opens up with yamitu yamotu, which means staggering, reeling, wobbling. Let coals of fire, burning coals, hot embers. So when it talked about what's coming out of their lips, right? It said it's like the poison of a viper's tongue. Again, it means it's almost like the heat. It's the same word that can be for a heat of the viper's tongue. So let the heat that's coming out of their mouth, let what's coming out of their mouth blow back on them. Let the destruction, what's coming out of their mouth that's burning everything down, let all the destruction, that's everything as it burns and it loses its stability and it's about to fall, may wobbling and tottering, may it wobble and totter upon them. That's the picture here. Wobbling, tottering. It's double point, put it as an emphasis. So to the point of crashing down. May the fire, may the hot embers that's the overflow of what they're causing, may they experience the consequence. Don't let that fall on everybody else. Don't let those who are trying to walk in your ways be covered by what they're burning down, but may those hot coals, may those hot embers return upon them. Let your Lord return it that way. What they're planting, may they reap. That's really... what they're sowing, may they receive, rather than us having to receive that, because we want to sow in righteousness and reap what you have for us. It says, may they be cast into, or be'esh yafalim, into the fire may they fall, into deep pits, b'mamorot, which is miry pits, or pits filled with rainwater, which were often set as traps. So it's basically saying, into the traps that they set, into the destruction that they sought to cause, may they fall into that, never to stand up again, never to rise again, never to come to a place of prominence again, never to be exalted again in their ability to wreak havoc and destruction. Lord, would you end it? We're calling upon you. Verse 12, again, dealing with those who with their words are causing such destruction. It says, Ish Lashon, a man of the tongue, a slanderer, a man of the tongue. May the man of the tongue, Bal Yachon Ba'aretz, may he not be established and made firm in the land. May calamity, may calamity hunt him down quickly. It's tud dachaf. May he in a hurry. May he as the violent hunter be hunted by instead. May he be running. May what he's been sending out, may the lions basically that he has sent out, may they chase him down. May calamity hunt down a violent man, the man of violence, Ish Hamas. Verse 3. Now he opens up with Yadati, Yadati. I know, like the double I know. I know this. ADONAI will vindicate the poor. Ki ya'aseh ADONAI din. Says, I know, because he will do, ADONAI, justice. Judgment. He will govern. To din is justice, but it's to administer justice. It's to govern. It's to contend. Basically, he will do justice. He will maintain the cause of the afflicted, the cause of the humbled, the cause of those who have been brought low. This I know. No matter what I see, I know that in his time, this is what I know, that the Lord will maintain the cause of the oppressed. And he will, and justice for the needy. That he will do governance and justice for the oppressed and the needy. God cares about how the weakest among us are treated. Justice, mishpat, din and mishpat, within Scripture, justice refers to this external environment in a society in which, when justice is there, then all life can thrive. Right? Then he makes it so that all are taken care of. When you read about the goodness of God, his justice is part of that. So he makes it so that all can thrive. Justice is rooted in God's instructions. Micah 6:8 says, this is what God requires of you, O man. To love chesed, to love, to do justice, and to walk humbly with your God. That's what he calls us to do, is to love what he loves. And when we love his love, and we love in the way that he loves, then we will be concerned about the weakest among us. There'll be mishpat, there'll be justice. We'll be concerned with protecting those who are being oppressed, those who are being taken advantage of by the powerful, by the rich, by those who can keep you small so they continue to climb up and exalt themselves on your head and don't give a rip for you. It's evil. It's wickedness. It's the wickedness of this world, a me-firstness, that we have no business as believers exalting or applauding. It's not something that if we admire that in any way and go, well, it was pretty smart. Man, look how I did it. It's pretty smart. And we admire the plots of their hearts, no matter how smart they are, to crush others, to exalt themselves, then we need to have the Lord search our hearts about what's brewing inside of us, about what we admire. Do we admire the things that God is for? Because his character is one of justice and concern for the needy and the oppressed and the afflicted. Talks about it a lot. The Lord talks about it a lot. And it's the overflow. It's his love expressed in deed. And the Scripture says, don't just love in word, love in reality, love in deed, not just with what you say, but with what we do. It's a both and. I know this, that ADONAI will do justice, that he will maintain the cause of the afflicted. He's going to come through. I know that. I know that justice will roll like a river. I know that. Verse 14, he says, surely, for certain, the righteous one, the tzaddikim, will praise Yodu. They will know. They will acknowledge your name. The upright will dwell in your presence or before your face. That those who do what is right, who walk in your ways, will dwell before your face. So there's this closing word of assurance. And again, what's beautiful here is that the psalmist David brings it to the Lord. There's an author that wrote, I didn't write his name down, otherwise I'll give him credit. He wrote, evil and justice. He's one of the commentators here. He says, evil, injustice, and oppression must be confronted, opposed, and hated because God hates them. From this perspective, the psalmist's desire for vengeance amounts to a desire for justice and righteousness in self and in society. He wants to be just in his own heart, wants to be righteous in his own heart, and wants to see that expressed in the society. The anger is expressed, but it's expressed in prayer and therefore submitted to God. Thus, this vehement, violent-sounding prayer is in fact an act of nonviolence. I give it to the Lord who I know will accomplish it, who will do he will govern justly with mishpat. I know that. And I know that the righteous will acknowledge what he has done. And that those who are upright, those who walk in his ways on the path, will dwell in his presence before his face. Amen? All right. Well, let me say good morning to anybody that I missed. Good morning to Carol and to Sonia. Good morning to you, Ola, this morning. And good morning to Kelly Woods in Independence. Good morning to you as well. Glad you could be on with us live this morning. And I think, is that everybody? Hey, Mary Lou. Hey, Mary Lou. How you doing? Long time. Mary Lou, and we've got Sonia and Naum and Sarah. Good morning to all of you. I say both of you. To all of you as well. And good morning to Lori and to Pat and to Jim and Sarah and Nicole. Hope you guys are doing well. Miss all of you. And what do we got here? Anybody else? Okay. All right. Well. Oh, I see. So, I see. Charlene was like, hey, to another Texan. But I think Jerry and Janet are visiting Texas. They live here in Casa Grande. So, I don't know. But anyway, but love all the Texans as well. All right. So, Shabbat Shalom. Have a beautiful day. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom, shalom. Have a beautiful day.